What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles here. In today's video, I am going to be talking about where to source to sell on Poshmark and eBay, show you my actual numbers, my sell-through rates, what sells highest, what sells best on these platforms. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so let's jump right into it. As the pandemic hit last year, I was mainly a thrift store and bins reseller on Poshmark and on eBay, mainly on Poshmark. I moved into eBay this past year. Things changed over 2020, and I'm going to share with you different places that I was sourcing and how they actually performed. So let's get right into it. This is the Sarah Style Sales and Trends dashboard. So if you are new to this channel, this is a dashboard, Google Sheets that you can purchase. You can manage and track your own data so that you can look at your metrics as well. It's one low fee, and then you have access to all of these metrics that I am going to be showing you. So in today's video, I'm really going to hone in on these sourcing strategies. I'm looking at 1 year's worth of data. So this is mainly the pandemic, a few months pre-pandemic, but mainly 2020 and then, most of January. Let's go back up. So what I'm looking at, like I said, pre-pandemic, I was thrift store and bins. And then you can see here by all of these charts, a picker, I tried paying someone else to go sourcing for me. I tried donations. Before, I wasn't really taking donations, garage sales, consignments, having people bring me items and I sell for them for a percentage. Online sourcing, so purchasing off of Poshmark or ThredUp or, Mercari, eBay, and then flipping that. I purchased clothes from my cousin, a reseller box. So this is buying boxes of inventory off of other resellers. A pallet. So a pallet would be buying a liquidation, purchasing new attack liquidation items. A vintage lot was a specific reseller box that I wanted to track of just vintage. And then you can see down here, these are all thrift stores. This one at the bottom is like a buy, sell, trade, Plato's Closet, Buffalo Exchange type of store, right? So these are all the ones that I tracked. And you can see up here, the only one that I did the previous year was my thrift store or bin. So let's go down over to my average sale price for the sourcing and my average cost of goods. So this is going to give me my average profit. The bigger the light blue, the more money that I made on these places. Garage sale, that makes sense. I was very particular and I only purchased a couple of things from a garage sale. Consignment. The consignment I was mainly doing was from my brother-in-law. He is a reseller, so he knows exactly what he's doing. He does a lot of electronics and hard goods. So that profit from consignment was great. We have since stopped that because he started reselling again. So kind of sucks for me. Sourcing online, I'm making good money sourcing online. The problem for me with sourcing online is it's very time consuming and I'm buying like one or two items. So while I'm making $44, I focus mainly on bags. If you follow me, or I can show you up here, bags are a great performer for me. They are one of my top performing bags. My sell-through rate, so that means 75% of the bags that I bought last year sold, and they sold on average for $54. That is one of my best performing categories. So when I was doing some online sourcing, I was definitely focusing on bags. That's one of my best ones. Definitely. And then we can scroll down here, thrift stores. And this is a consignment shop. This $125 is the one purse that I purchased at a consignment shop while I was there shopping. I didn't use that as a main strategy. I am a mom of 3 children. And so when the pandemic hit, I had 3 kids at home remote learning with me. And so I had to really take it, not to mention that things were shut down for a while and then they opened back up and stuff. But my time is really hard. It is hard for me to get out of the house during store hours, thrift store consignment, whatever it is. So I really moved towards a pallet. In today's video, I'm going to really focus on I mean, these are all the things that I did, but is a pallet performing well for me? Because it's much easier for me to get online, purchase a pallet while the kids are playing nicely, or they're having lunch, or they're in bed, whatever that is. It comes to my house, and I can process as time allows with the kids. I don't have to leave the house. So from a time commitment perspective, that is a huge bonus for me. But is it actually selling? Am I actually making money? So let's look specifically at the pallet. And down here, you can see my average profit is $25. So while it's not, these big 40, 50, $44 items, I'm getting a large quantity of them, and it's coming to me. Garage sales, consignment, online sourcing, like I said, it was one-offs. I can purchase an online pallet and get 400 items, 500 items, however many items I want sent to me in an hour, right? As long as however long it takes me to research it, right? So from a time commitment, yes, it is less profit, but on an per hour basis, that $25 I'm actually pretty good with. It is, a little bit less than thrift stores. It's more than the bins. And I've done videos on the past on this, the bins versus thrift stores. The bins are hard because you don't know what you're going to get. I know my top categories. I know my top brands. If I'm throwing I bags, like I go straight to the bags. At the bins, there's not a bag section. I'll maybe get one bag. You kind of just get stuck with what you get. So my average profit for the bins is less, and it definitely takes me more time. But even thrift stores, $36 at this thrift store I go to, $36 at this one, $26. So I am making less on a pallet. My average profit for a pallet is less. And a couple of reasons for this is, when you purchase pallets, I purchase a manifested, which means that there is going to be a list. I look at what I'm having, everything in it. But even then, it's not all good stuff, right? It is not all, the top brands. They throw in some of the top brands and then, kind of get rid of some of their lower end brands. So even if it is manifested, you're not getting all great stuff with it. But then I want to come over and look at my sell-through rate. If you're new to the channel, or just need a little refresher, your sell-through rate tells you how well something is performing. Average sale price is telling you how much it's selling for, on average, and your sell-through rate is telling you how much of it is selling. So if I had 100 items and 10 of those sold, that's a 10% sell-through rate. 100 items out of 100 items is 100% sell-through rate. Selling everything I purchase would be amazing. So the higher the sell-through rate, the better. So let's come down and look at my pallet. Only 44% of my pallet has sold. So that is, and I'm going to tell you, compare to yourself. So when I'm saying, okay, this is definitely a lower percent selling than, say, my bins is at 77%, my thrift store is at 67%, garage sales 83, 83, 83. This is one of the lower performing sell-through rates. Let's compare to myself. So for this last year, my average sell-through rate was 56%. So it's definitely performing less than my average. I'm getting a lower average sale price for it. I'm also getting a lower sell-through rate. The one thing I do want to note before I tell you what I'm going to be doing in the future, where I'm going to be sourcing, is it's slightly skewed in the sense of the only things that I've been listing for the past month and a half has been pallet items. So I have a lot of pallet items, and they've only been listed for a month, right? Where the thrift store stuff has been listed for, 6 months, a year. So it's had more time to sell. But thrift stores, I can go in, I'm in Colorado, I can go in and hand pick exactly what I want to do. So I'm definitely getting better quality stuff, things that I know that are going to sell and things that are going to sell higher at a thrift store. However, here's what I'm doing moving forward. So we are still in pandemic. My kids, I'm planning on having them home the rest of the year. My oldest is in hybrid, so he's home 2 days a week. And the youngest, we have just opted, I have a kindergartner and a preschooler. We've opted for consistency's sake, so we don't have to keep schools don't have to keep shutting down, and consistency, we have opted to keep them home. So I am planning until at least the fall to have my kids home, and not only home with me. It's different than the summer when I can still kind of work. I am their teacher. It's a 5-year-old, or she's 6 now, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and then my oldest is special needs. I'm their teacher. It's not, hey, go to your room and do this. I am sitting down there helping them manage, teaching them, and all of this. So the time thing for me is my biggest thing with, so I'm going to be continuing to do these pallets. While it's not my best performing, I have to take into consideration the fact that I don't have to leave the house to do this. It is still performing well enough for me that I feel like I'm okay continuing down this path. I will go out and thrift as often as I have time for, because you can see based off of my data that it definitely is proving to be plentiful for me. That's the better place for me. But kind of having the pallet come to me and not be having to leave the house is definitely where I'm at in my reselling business right now. If you guys do like content like this, looking at my numbers to make strategic decisions for my business and really guiding and following my business, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give me a like on your way out, drop those comments down below if you have them. Have a good day.